All right, family. Black Power. We live with the general once again. You already know we got that fire. We're gonna have a powerful one today. Why the ancient Egyptian spiritual system should become the official religion of Pan African USA. We should most definitely tap into what the greatest of our elder scholars brought, for us here, and it was the Kemetic Cushite spiritual system, because we don't need to follow behind nobody else. We need to go to the elite system, mother system, and for our advance, spiritual journey, period. Period. When we look at ancient Egypt, and before we get started, family, I want y'all to get on over there to Patreon. Of course, man, we got a fire one. I'm doing this one tonight. I ain't gonna even hold y'all up. You gotta be up for this one. That's right. Who are the children of the sun? And we're gonna tap into this system. Because this is truly the system that's teaching us about our black divinity, our melanated divinity. And so we most definitely got to tap in. So man, if you up, I'm rocking out. I'm locked and loaded for the Kemetic Islamic what was that? I'm dealing with that tonight too. How Islam was foundation was on the thievery or the Kemetic system. Why join anything else when everything comes from the Kemetic system anyway? You see, that don't even make no sense. But anyway, yeah, let me get back in here. Let me get back in here. Yes, and that's true. That's what Walter Williams was talking about. The greatest civilization in all the world, and and nobody is claiming it, or some vagabonds who had no real lineage to ancient Egypt is trying to claim our system, but this they can't tap in. You understand what I'm saying? Because once you get into inside the system and you see it's a solar melanin divinity that you is if you don't have the and it's the solar melanin and it's some other sacred connections that only black people possess. And it's and the thing about it, we over here in the United States was the ones that connected more so than anybody else. Everybody else jumped on the bandwagon after us. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not claiming USA. I'm just saying geographically, Pan African USA was the premier community. That's a fact. That's a fact. Ain't no damn doubt about it. And so, I'm not finagling with nobody. I'm not coming behind nobody. You see, and I know it's a whole lot of systems out there, but I'm not coming behind nobody because we're and plus we the top anyway. That's the way I feel, and that don't mean I don't build with the family. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it is what it is. I'm gonna accept reality. You know what I'm saying? So we should use the most advanced system. That's what Dr. Ben brought us. That's what Dr. John Henry Clark brought us. And that's what Dr. Ivan Van Sertima brought us. That's what Chancellor Williams brought us. That's what John G. Jackson brought us. That's what Drusilla Dungy Houston brought us. And our scholars should become, our prophets. That's just all it is to it. That's how we don't have to go through no damn body else. You see what I'm saying? And that's clear. That's very clear. And we are in a unique position to do that. And I've already done it. You see what I'm saying? I don't put nobody over my scholars. You see what I'm saying? Nobody. I don't give a goddamn who it is. I don't put nobody over 'em. The ones that woke me up, that brought us all this scholarship, man, woke us up out of our misery. You know what I'm saying? No way. So we have to make our scholars our prophets and prophetesses. You see what I'm saying? And acknowledge the Kemetic Cushite spiritual system as the official system. of this particular branch. Now, if you want to, wherever you at, you can practice Pan-Africanism. I'm all right with that. And you can come up under whatever religious system you want to come under. Don't make no difference. But our scholars emphasize the Nile Valley. Our scholars emphasize, though, they use and taught us about all of Africa. We're not negating another spiritual system, but because that was the particular system that popped it off. You see what I'm saying? And you have to go with what popped it off. You can't come in and say, "Oh, the voodoo." Love voodoo, man. I love voodoo. You see, but voodoo wasn't what popped it off. Didn't pop this African consciousness movement off. It didn't pop it off. It was the Nile Valley, ancient Egypt, that popped it off. You can't go in and start and see that's another thing. You get to cutting and pasting, trying to, okay, no, you don't do that. You don't do that. We add it in there for us. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else, but that go right on head. You see, we know what popped it off. And a lot of people, because they get to talking greasy about the Kemetic studies too. Yeah, they do. They get to talking greasy about it because I didn't heard it before. So we have to be, we have to emphasize what our scholars and which I say, is our prophets. You see, because for real, for me, Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark, and Colin Muhammad, nigga, that's my holy trinity. Everybody, I got you got the minor prophets. But for real, and Marcus Garvey, but that Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X, they like, you know what I'm saying? They like deity, you know what I'm saying? They, them is the high priest of all time. You feel what I'm saying? Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Dr. Ben, Dr. John Henry Clark, Khalid Abdul Muhammad. Don't get no man. Nigga, if you can't win with that, you can't win. If you ca- if you can't win with that, you cannot win. Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Dr. Ben, Dr. John Henry Clark, Khalid Abdul Muhammad. You know what I'm saying? It don't get but Dr. Ben, Dr. John Henry Clark, Khalid Abdul Muhammad was a part of that brought us, resurrected, Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X at that time. You feel me? Through the consciousness movement. You see, through the consciousness movement. So, we have to deify, those leaders and scholars, leader scholars. You see what I'm saying? We have to deify and make the Kemetic studies, man, the official Kemetic Kushite spiritual system, the official religion. That's how because we already know this is the elite. It is what it is. You can roll the dice on whatever you want to roll the dice on. I'm just telling you. You know what I'm saying? At no other time, we at the pinnacle. When you at the pinnacle of civilization, spiritual violence, all arts and sciences, that's the foundation of what you shouldn't go lower than that. You feel me? You shouldn't go lower than that. You should always go to the most advanced system. Civilization lasted over 3,000 years. That right there speak for itself. The longevity of it. You feel me? No other civilization could even come close to 3,000, over 3,000 years for real. Just 3,000 years dynastically, but you're really talking about 6,000 years continuous rule. No other civilization nowhere on the planet can come close. Matter of fact, you could take 2, 3, 4, 5 of them damn civilizations and put them together and fit them inside of the history of the Kemetic Kushite civilization, Nile Valley civilization. So, I'm tightening down on all the flagrant, misunderstandings that we having out here about the Pan-African community, this, that, and the third. We have to, we have to formalize strict structure that our elders have laid and our teachers have laid out for us and move within them guidelines. You see what I'm saying? And discard, because we should have been done it long time ago. If we would have done it, you wouldn't even have what you got out here now. The only reason that you got a lot of these groups out here, you understand, because the Pan-African community allowed them to come on in, certain people allowed them to come on in, have a place at a lot of the lectures when they should not have had. I was trying to stamp their ass out then. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a dictator. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe if your particular thought, train of thought, don't pop it off like that, then go that is for a reason. Don't come and try to get on the bandwagon and shit and weight us down. And that's exactly what has happened. And so yeah, we going most definitely that's the BPC anyway. That's how we roll. Dr. Ben, Dr. John Henry Clark, Khalid Abdul Muhammad, the Holy Trinity, with Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X, the first representatives the great creator, creatress of the universe. We had to roll like that. And we got our sisters in there too. You already know. But this is for the brothers and the sisters. Ain't no leaving that out. These was the ones that kicked the door down. So regardless of that, that's how we got to come. But anyway, family, we got a lineup. I want to keep moving. Make sure you get over there and check me out. Who are the children of the sun? Uh, this right here is off the chain. I got the visuals already lined up. So if you want to get your mind blown and you want to tap into your black divinity tonight, click that link at the top of the chat and join the general. All right, family. I'll see you on the next video. Black Power.